Hello and welcome back to the Serial Podcast. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. It's been ages. We're back with another podcast. It's been a while. I've got the setup. I've got the YouTube. I've got just the podcast. So you don't have to look at my face if you don't want to. Just the noise I'll link it in the description of the YouTube video. Cool. So, before we get started, of course, get yourself a bowl of cereal. I've got my bowl of cereal in my cereal podcast bowl. I've got nut cornflakes. Lovely. The best cereal about. Honey nut cornflakes. Well, they are nothing different. I refuse to hear anything different because I'm correct in saying that this is the best cereal. Because it is. Because I said so. So, just tuck myself in a bit more. What are we doing on today's episode of the Serial Podcast? I can hear you asking. And hear all the questions chirping along. And a while ago, how long? The 3rd of March. When was March? We're in May, April, March. Like 2 months ago. Yeah. A little over 2 months ago. A YouTuber by the name of Ludwig. I'm sure you've all heard of him. I'd hope so. If you're here, it'd be weird if you know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he asked people hard questions. They're hard questions because they're not hard they're pretty easy questions to answer. What I should have done is watched the video again and then see what the questions were. But instead I'm using the key moments on the Google Google page because I'm lazy and also I just want to eat some cereal in it. So it's kind of a nightmare, if anything. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to answer these questions. I'm going to discuss with myself. If you disagree with us, you can tell us. I'm going to disagree with you as well. Am I going to listen to what you have to say? Well, I'll read it and then tell you you're wrong, and then probably give little to no reason to why you're wrong and I'm right, because that is how arguments work in most places. Because frankly, I don't care enough. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do as I eat cereal, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so the first question, I think the first question was a lasagna question, right? But it's not that. But I'm gonna answer that question anyway. So the question is, if you have 2 lasagnas, right, and you put the lasagna, I think is that how it's spelled? I don't care. If you put the lasagna on the other lasagna, is that 2 lasagnas still? Or is that 1 lasagna? Now, clearly that's 1 lasagna, because you're putting them on top of each other. You're just adding to the height of the lasagna. Because a lasagna anyway is the mince and the paste. I don't know what it is. It's not paste. It's some kind of pasta material, right? But they're already stacked. So adding another one doesn't just make it 2. It just makes it 1 because it adds to it. It's like if I added a layer onto a block of flats, I've just added, that's still 1 block of flats. I've just added a layer onto that 1 block of flats to make it a taller 1 block of flats. You get what I'm saying? I understand what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's just 1 lasagna. And anyone who does disagree on that will be burned at a stake. As in, like, the wooden things, not like the meat. Because that kind of sounds enjoyable rather than a bit painful. Whoa. You're getting burnt anyway, aren't you? So I mean, it doesn't matter that. Well, the point is, it's one lasagna, and anyone who disagrees is just wrong. And just incorrect. Factually, not right. Next question. Who would win in a fight? 1 billion lions, right? 1 billion with a B, not an M. 1 billion, that's a lot of lions. Or all of the Pokemon. I've got to say all the Pokemon. Can I give a reason? No. I don't know Pokemon that good. I also don't know lions that good. So, I mean, it balances out. But I definitely have to say Pokemon. I mean Charizard. I learned he's 5'7". I got told he was 5'7". I don't actually know if he is 5'7". Let me put that down. Let me type it in. 1.7 meters. That doesn't help. In feet. There we go. That's still in meters. That doesn't help. Hold on. Hold on. Meters to feet. Yes. 1.7. No, he's 5'5". He's 5'5". I feel like I'm being lied to. Because if for Charizard, right, which is obviously the one who's going to devour everyone. He's just going to set them alight, innit? They're going to be huddled together, and then they're all going to be set alight. I don't... It's just a stupid question. Anyway, but for Charizard to be 5'5" means every person is very small. Right, let me get a picture of Charizard next to Ash, right? Images. None of these pictures are on there. Okay, that they look like children. That doesn't help. You know what my point is? There's one. Ash must be like 2 foot tall, mate. I'm having none of that. I don't know. Charizard's not 5'5" because then everyone else has to be a midget. Like even for a child, they have to be small. I'm taller than a Charizard, apparently. That means Peppa Pig's taller than a Charizard. Which is stupid, because Peppa Pig's a pig. She's a literal oink pig. So that doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense. It's stupid. If Pokemon was real life, I could probably have a fight with Charizard. I'd lose because I'd get set on fire, which is obviously the main point of this argument. Just set things on fire. Set the lions on fire and then get them to set the other lions on fire. And then that's an easy rubber-dub-dub. I don't know why it's so hard to come to that conclusion. The Pokemon would win because you just get Charizard to set fire to them. And then you get the other fire Pokemon to set fire to the other ones. Magikarp would just flop about because it's Magikarp, he's pretty useless. Caterpie would just get stood on because it's Caterpie. I mean, how Caterpie's not teeing out. So the Pokemon are winning and I'll hear nothing different. Come at me with whatever you want. I'm not listening. Caterpie's winning. Because it's plain and simple. Not Caterpie, Pokemon. The Caterpie would lose instantly, more or less. It would be there, and then it would be gone because it's either been eaten or crushed by several lions. Because they're useless, more or less useless. Yep. I mean, I think I've pretty much settled that. I think that's some sound argument right there. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's sound. I'm hearing nothing else. I'm honestly. This is one of the very few things that I will hear absolutely nothing else of. Pokemon are winning because fire in it. Or you can make the Pokemon fall in love with them. Like, I don't know which ones. But the Pokemons that do that, you can just make them fall in love and then make them fight the other lions. Honestly, I've got smarts. It's all stocked up there. All in that noggin of mine. It is a kind of small noggin, so there isn't much up there. But what is up there is pretty much useless. Like, to have an irrational fear of palindromes is called abophobia. Did you know that? It's a palindrome, so it's funny, but also stupid. I also don't know. I'm pretty sure that one's true. I think I fact checked it. I probably didn't. Let's be honest, it's me. I probably didn't fact check it, but I tell people it's true. And the irrational fear of being followed by a duck is called antidiphobia. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's what it is. So you can tell them your party guys. Little party trick. Well, it's not a trick, is it? You know what? That's besides the point. Yeah, just tell people random phobias that you learn from the internet. Anyway, so Pokemon would win. That's it. That's the yeah, Pokemon would win. Next question though is the trolley problem. You know the trolley problem? It's like there's 5 people on one side of the track, right, on one track, and then you can pull a lever to change which way the trolley's going, which is just a train. From a trolley, the trolley's just a little train thing. That's what I understand. But you can change it and make it only run over one person. So let 5 people die or let 1 person die. Now, the thing is, who are the people? Because what if they're just like, what if they cloned Hitler 4-5 times and the 5 people are Hitler? Therefore, I'm not going to change the track. Unless the other guy was also... What if the other guy was the original Hitler? See, the problem is here, do I kill the original Hitler if he's not already dead? Because, you know, conspiracy theories and that. Or do I kill the 5 other Hitlers that are still young and might still do damage to the... I don't know. You might get rejected from art school again or something. I don't really know. I don't know my Hitler lore that well. I just know something like that happened, and then he killed people. So I mean, I don't know. But if it was just 5 random people that I didn't know, I'd just kill the 1 person. I'd let old Hitler live, and then, because he's old, I'd punch him in the nose. He'd probably kill our, because he's old. I don't think you have to have much strength to kill old Hitler. I finished all my cereal. This bowl is actually really small. It doesn't hold a lot in it. And that is disappointing, because now I finished all my cereal. So this has gone from like a cereal podcast to a half cereal podcast, because I have cereal for half the amount of time that I'm doing the podcast for. Anyway, so yeah, that's the trolley problem. As long as it's not Hitler, or who else was a bad man? I don't know. Me? If I was the single person and I was also pulling the the lever, I'd pull the lever. I just think it'd be quite funny to see my reaction. Or who else? Who else would? The entirety of France, right, was on one side. The entirety of France was on one side, and then I don't know, Carl, who was murdered 7 people, what was on the other side. So I either murder Carl, the serial killer, or I just murder I'd go for the entirety of France because it's France, and I mean, we don't need any more France. And there's just going to be another Carl anyway. You know, we'll let him go for a bit. I know what he looks like now, so he can't leave the house. Pardon me. That was quite a proper burp. But yeah, I'd let Carl go. We'll just kill the entirety of France. Next question though. How many straws are in... No, how many holes are in a straw? Not straws in a hole, because that would completely depend on the size of the hole. If it was like a hole in a bottle, as in like the hole that the liquid comes out of, then it depends on how big it just depends on how big the hole is to see how many straws you can get in it. But if we're talking about how many holes are in a straw, then there's one, because it's just one that goes all the way through. It's not 2, because it doesn't stop. Like, if I dug a hole in the ground, that would be 1 hole, and then if I did one next to it, that would also be 1 hole. But if I took one of those holes and digs from, I don't know, like Valley View Field, because I live near it, I don't live next to it, it's like a 5-minute walk, it's all uphill, it hurts my legs a little bit sometimes. It's besides the point, right? But if I dig from one side of the earth to the other, and I go all the way through, the entire way, top to bottom, through the hole, and I get to the other side of the earth, we're saying here that is manageable, which I'm pretty sure it isn't, but that's besides the point. But we're saying I can't do that, then I've just made 1 hole through. I haven't made 2 holes because there's 2 different places for it to come out of. That's still 1 hole, because there's only 1 hole. It's just a really long one. It's like, I was trying to think of something funny, but I can't. I was just like, oh, it's like a white man's penis, but that doesn't make sense. No, it's gone. I don't know. It's just 1 really long hole and not 2 holes, because that's stupid. There's definitely someone who thinks it's 2 holes, and I will give them a swift backhand like the absolute legend I am. Sure. But you know, that's the straws. That's that. Can pineapple go on pizza? Right. Pineapple can go on pizza. This is a 2-part question, right? It's can pineapple go on pizza, which, yes, of course pineapple can go on pizza, but should pineapple go on pizza? To which the answer is no. Pineapple should not go on pizza. I am a believer of pineapple doesn't go on pizza because that's disgusting. I mean, pineapple is bad enough already. You don't need to then put it on something good. You know, some people are like, it can go on pizza. It's okay if you put it only on Hawaiian pizza. And I'm like, no. Why do you want pineapple and ham? That sounds minging. Don't do that. That's vile. That I will puke out of all of my orifice. Is orifice the right word? Am I spelling it right? Is that how you... That's how you spell it? No, that's... No. Who's Orpheus? A legendary musician, poet and prophet in ancient Greek religion. That's not... I don't mean Orpheus. I mean orifice. Is it an F? Orifice? Orifice? Is that orifice? Is that how you spell it? An orifice is spelled C-E? That looks... Ugh. But an orifice is the right word, not Orpheus. That's stupid. But I will release liquidy, hard liquidy substance like I am both pooing and puking at the same time out of all my holes, because pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Let's be honest. Pineapple belongs burned alive, because obviously pineapple's alive until you cut it off a tree, because that's when it stops having emotion. It's just chilling with its family on the tree. It's like, oh, this is a good day, and then it gets cut off the tree, and someone buys it from Sainsbury's, and it's just living its life in death. Maybe that's what happens to people. We die, and the food takes us. The food eats us, and then we die. We go through the stages of making poo. We'll call it that. I don't know what the actual word is, nor do I care. I don't know. My point is, right, anyone who puts pineapple on pizza and is like, yeah, this should go on all of the pizzas, needs to be burned in a hole with no end. Just a small hole, not a very long hole. And then while they're being burned, we shower them with pineapple and see how they feel. Because I reckon they're not going to feel very good after that. I wouldn't feel good eating pineapple on pizza anyway. Why would you cook pineapple? I don't get... Jesus. I don't get why people cook certain foods. Like apples. Why are you cooking apples? Stop it. They're fine raw. Raw apples are nice. Stop cooking the apple. It's weird. Stop it. I'm not a fan of this. Or carrots. I know carrots is socially acceptable. So are apples. But carrots are vile when they're cooked. They are disgusting. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Why? What is the need? You can just have a raw carrot and it's crunchy and it doesn't release juices when you bite into it. At least that's what most cooked carrots do. I try not to eat the cooked carrots. I will still eat them because they're on my plate, and frankly I'm hungry. But that's besides the point. They're vile. What are they? Vegetable? No, fruit. Is pineapple's a fruit? I went on a tangent about the carrots aren't even a fruit. What? Tomatoes are a fruit? Or no, they're a fruit. I think. I mean, tomatoes are disgusting anyway, but besides the point, tomatoes are vile. They should only be made into puree so I can make pizza. That's the only time tomatoes are allowed, tomato puree. Not even sauces, except puree. Not normal, like, ketchup. So, nope, vile, disgusting, get it away. Put it in the bin. Give it a punt. I will punt it like it's an unwanted baby. Which I probably couldn't punt in all fairness. Well, I mean, I could if it was a newborn. How much do newborns weigh? Like 9 stones? I don't know how much 9 stones weigh. Not that heavy. I did used to pick up stones back in the day. That's not even... I know that the measurement stone isn't equivalent to the weight of a stone. I don't think. Probably back in the day that's how it worked. But now I don't think it is. That's besides the point though. I actually have I have another question. I've just thought of this when I'm talking about punting children. What is the biggest animal you reckon you could punt? Like, you just see it chilling there and you're like, I could punt that. Because I reckon it's a cat. I would say it has to go at least 10 yards. Or at least to the other side of a road. For it to be deemed as puntable. Because if I'm punting an animal, it's because I don't want it near it, so I want it on the other side of the road. But I reckon a cat, they can be pretty light. Not a fat cat, because I can't punt a fat cat. But just a normal cat, I reckon I could punt. What else? I mean, a fox is a similar shape. could maybe punt a fox. They don't look too much heavier. They're bigger, on average, I think. I'm gonna go with it is. But I reckon I could not do a fox. That sounds a little bit on the wrong side. I reckon I could punt a fox though. Maybe. What other animals are there that aren't too big? Like, anyone who says they can punt a dog? No, we're going for like a normal. We're not going for a small dog. We're going for a normal sized dog. If you say dog, you're talking about like a normal sized German Shepherd, Border Collie, Golden Retriever sort of dog area. We're not going pug if you're saying a dog. That doesn't count. That's a small dog. A Chihuahua, I could definitely punt because they make a horrible noise when they talk. Because obviously when they bark, they're talking that. Everyone knows that. That is fact. But I'd definitely punt a Chihuahua because they're annoying. I love all dogs except Chihuahuas, and there's probably one of them. I love the majority of dogs except the ones that make a horrible yapping noise for no reason. Like, just stop, just talk, just bark. Not like that. Do it normally. Don't do it. That's horrible. That makes me want to shove a fist up my nostril. And I can't say I want to do that a lot because, I mean, my nostrils aren't big enough. It's like giving birth out of my nostril, but it's a fist in there instead. So it's kind of completely different to giving birth out of a nostril because my nostril's smaller than that hole, I think. I'm not going to Google that because that is... if someone checks, if they look weird, just, Logan, why were you researching whether a nostril hole or a downstairs woman hole was bigger? And I have to say scientific research because that's what it would be, except that's still a weird thing to say because that sounds like investigating whether I can, into a nostril, which is not something I want to do. It may not be big, but I reckon it's still bigger than being able to put it in a nostril. Just out on a limb, I don't think I can put it in a nostril. I'm sorry to anyone who I've disappointed by the lack of ability to put said wiggly worm in a wiggly worm. What? Why a worm? I used to actually know someone who called it a caterpillar. I say used to. Someone called mine a caterpillar one time. It was kind of weird. Like calling the caterpillar, which made it weirder, if anything. I've got something in my eye. Yeah, sick. I think I got it out. I don't know. Anyway, moving on from the biggest animal you could punt. I think I'd go fox. I think I would. I think that's like one of my icebreaker questions. When I'm around people that I know. I'm not just like sitting in the middle of town and other people sit on the same bench and I'm like, how big of a dog? I mean, what's the biggest animal you reckon you can punt? Like, that's a weird thing to say to new people, unless you're in a comfortable place, like your home. But why is a new person in your house? That's maybe don't do that. Don't invite people into your house just so you can ask them the biggest animal they could punt, because that's kind of weird. Anyway, we'll move on. Cats or dogs? I mean, this is a pretty easy one. Cats or dogs? Woofers or those things that if you don't stop them from wanting to be impregnated, they attach to a family member, and every time they go into heat, they want you to impregnate them. I mean, I think it's I'd choose dog. I don't want to put it into a cat. Again, I don't think it's small enough. And even if it was, I still wouldn't really want to. I've talked about this before, right? In an earlier podcast. It was one of the first ones. It might have been the first one, in all honesty. Besides the point. But I talked about how my cat isn't neutered. That's the word. Isn't neutered. I think that's the word. I'm going to go with that's the word. Well, the cat isn't neutered, right? So it goes through heat. And when it goes through here, it's like, ooh, I want children. Give me a child. Bear me with kiddie winkles. And I'm not about that. I don't want to have deformed cat human babies, because that's weird. And anyone who does should be in prison or a psychiatric ward. Pardon me. Pardon me again, Jesus. But yeah, it goes through heat, and it's like, Logan, put a baby in it. So I'm like, no, go away, cat. So I have to lock the door, and then barricade it, and then position motion censored poison dart guns that are then sleeping dart guns, not poison. I'm not trying to kill the cat, believe it or not. But it also walks in front of us, and I've nearly punted the cat accidentally, and I've also nearly stood on the cat, and I've also nearly kicked it in the head, just like bang in the head. I also locked myself. This happened the other day. This happened last week, I'm pretty sure. Was it last week? No, it was a week before. It wasn't last week. It was a week before. The cat was annoying us because it's a cat and it wanted to be impregnated, and I didn't want it. So I closed the door really hard. So hard, in fact, I locked myself in the bathroom, because my bathroom doesn't have a working handle. So you can't turn the handle and also turn the sticky out bit that sticks into the door frame. You can't do that. So what I did is I slammed the door, and the door closed, and I was just stuck in there. And then I had a bath. I thought I'd make use of the time. I was like, oh, I'm a little bit dirty. Let me have a bath. So I had a bath and got out of the bath, and then the cat was outside the door. I got let in by War Mother. She came and knocked the door down because she's hench, and she can do those things. And my auntie was also there because she was with my auntie. So not only did I have to witness War Mother knock down a door, I also had to do it while my auntie was there, and also the cat was just sitting there outside the door waiting for us to be finished hiding. So then I had to hide upstairs in a different room, because I didn't want to get like shanked up by the cat for hiding and not wanting to be impregnated. This is a long way of saying I don't like cats. I didn't like cats in the first place. We got a cat. That didn't help. And then now I want more dogs in the house. We have one dog in the house. It can't use its back legs. It's kind of sad. I have to hold it by its back legs to get it up the stairs. I used to hold it more by its butt, and then it was brought to my attention, you can just hold it by its back legs. And I was like, well, I could do that, but you're right. I should probably start doing that instead of holding it by its butthole. I wasn't holding its butthole. It was the butt area. If you imagine the butt cheeks of a dog, that's kind of what I was using to lift it up. I wasn't like holding the butthole of the dog. Oh, for God's sake. I'm a dog person. That is what I'm trying to get to here. This is what we need. I prefer dogs. Let's all have a dog instead of cats. I once said that we should drop all cats in a volcano. Someone wasn't very happy about that. They're clearly a cat person, which they shouldn't be. No. Dogs. Yes. Woof woof. Woof woof. Mud trucker. That's what I imagine a dog says, but I can't understand them because I am human. No. I had a bath. I'm not human. I'm human. You know what? It doesn't matter. But that is all the questions. Jesus. If you would like another episode similar to this, tell us. I don't know. Hit me up. I'll probably answer. I've got nothing else to do most of the time. Yeah. I thought I'd do a podcast. I just got bored, really. That was my only reason for doing it. I just got bored. I was like, yeah, I'm bored now. I'll do a podcast. So yeah. If you want another one next week, tell us, and I might do one. I also might not. There's a possibility I won't. There's always the possibility that I'll be like, I don't want to. But, if you want one, tell us, and then I might do one. Not do one. I probably will do one. As in, you know what? It doesn't matter. No. I hope you enjoyed. I hope your cereal was nice. My cereal was lovely. Because it's honeycomb. It's not honeycomb. Well, I guess it is. It's honeycomb cornflakes. It's honey cornflakes. It's cornflakes, but they're honey flavored, right? I don't really like honey, but I like the cereal. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with us. I'd rate it a solid 10 out of 10. It's much better than the bloody unicorn hoop things that I had. Like, they were vile. Oh, I think we still got them. No one wants them. They taste vile. They're disgusting. Thinking about them, I can feel the taste in my mouth, and it is vile. It is just that is how I feel. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope your cereal was nice. I hope you enjoyed watching or listening to me eat my cereal while watching and or listening to me talk about questions that, let's be honest, no one cared about. But I asked them anyway. So yes, I hope to see you in another episode at some point. I don't know when, but at some point there might be another episode. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, share with friends. If you're listening on Spotify or whatever other app you used to listen to your podcasts on, share it. Tell people about this amazing guy who just chats for no reason. I'm sure people will love that. But I hope to see you in another podcast sometime soon. And yeah, I mean, that's it now. Words in a bit.